So hello and welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for joining me here today. I'm really excited about today's video because I'm going to be talking about my favorites from November and December. Now I am posting this a little bit earlier than I normally would, and that is because it is the month of December. And on the last Sunday of this month, I'm going to be doing my favorites from the whole year. So that will be reserved for my favorites from 2024. So I'm posting this a couple weeks early just to leave a little bit of space between doing my monthly favorites from November and December, and then posting the yearly favorites from 2024. And I just want to say that I'm proud of myself that I did achieve my goal in getting out this bi-monthly video on time through this whole year. I made this goal for myself a couple of times in the past, wasn't able to do it, but I was able to do it this year. So I'm really glad that I did that, and hopefully I can continue with that in the upcoming year because you guys do really seem to like these videos. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive into my favorites. I thought I was going to start with skincare, but I've decided to go ahead and talk about my two favorite perfumes because I have to tell you, I smell really, really good. I just can't stop sniffing my arms. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the two perfumes that I'm wearing. They have just been favorites of mine over these last couple of months, or actually I should say month. The first one I'm gonna talk about may be relatively unknown to you all, but this is a perfume brand called Ormonde Jayne. I just purchased the travel size, which is quite lovely. I'll also find a full bottle picture for you so you can see how beautiful their full bottles are. But I made a trip to Fumery, which is a gorgeous perfume boutique in Portland that I absolutely love. I went there very recently with Salwa, who used to own Bergamot Beauty, and Ali from Heart of Gold. We had a girls' trip to Fumery and had an amazing time. We sniffed so many perfumes, and I went home with this one. So this is the Ormonde Jayne Vanille des Afriques. And this one just ticked all the boxes for me because I was wanting something that had iris in it, vanilla, and osmanthus, and I also really love cedar. So I'll just talk to you about the notes real quick. There's orris, which is, iris, osmanthus. There's magnolia in here, which I can kind of go either way with. There's also jasmine absolute, coriander seed, bergamot, carrot seed, pink pepper. And then the base has Madagascan vanilla, bourbon vanilla, cedarwood, vetiver, amber, and musk. So all of those notes just sounded so amazing to me. And I've already sprayed this, so I don't need to spray anymore because I have a good amount on my right arm here. So the perfume has already dried down on me, and I'm gonna talk about the base in just a second here. But what is really beautiful and interesting to me about this perfume really are the top notes and how the top evolves into the heart. So the top for me is really all about the coriander, which was really surprising. While I was in Fumery, the perfume boutique where I purchased this, we had smelled so many perfumes that while I was there, I wasn't really sure what I was smelling, but I knew it was beautiful. But when I got home, and as I've worn it several times, I've really been able to tell that it is the coriander that I am just so in love with in the top notes. And so the coriander is very green and bright, but also quite spicy and fresh at the same time. It is really, really beautiful. Now, it doesn't make you feel like you're cooking in the kitchen. It's very elevated, it's very sophisticated. I keep looking down because I'm looking at my notes because I wanted to take notes while I was wearing the perfume so I could express my thoughts to you more clearly. So like I said, in the top, it's just very green, fresh. It's got a very spicy depth to it. And then it moves into this really luscious heart of osmanthus that still retains that coriander aspect to it. So while the osmanthus and also the jasmine and those florals start to bloom, the coriander still retains that herbaceous kind of spicy depth to it, which is just so beautiful. The magnolia also comes forward as well. And while magnolia obviously is a floral, it's kind of a spicy floral. So it interplays with the coriander just beautifully. And then after about a half an hour, 45 minutes, the vanillas really start to develop, as well as the vetiver. It just kind of like peeks its head into the picture. So you start to get that beautiful vanilla while also having vetiver give you a little bit of that kind of like grassy, nutty feeling. So this is the time it's really evolving into a spicy, woody floral, where you also have this beautiful like gossamer vanilla veil just sort of floating around you. So if you like spicy, woody florals with vanilla in the mix, this is something you definitely must experience. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention the iris in here. The iris is absolutely stunning, and you really get a sense of it in the dry down. So after several hours, that's when the iris actually really starts to come forth for me. Now, they mention orris butter in the top notes, but for me, the iris really comes into play in the dry down. And that is when this becomes sort of this phantom type scent to me. Sometimes when I smell the dry down, it really smells like this beautiful blend of vanilla and iris, where then sometimes I smell it and I just get the iris, then sometimes I smell it, I just get the vanilla. But when I get the iris, it is not austere or cold in any way. It's just very beautiful and soft, and I really, really love it. So over this fall, I've been kind of obsessed with iris. I've actually purchased several iris perfumes, samples, like the Prada Iris perfume, which I actually really love. I think that is very, very beautiful as well, but I would say that's a little bit more in the austere category. Eccentric Molecules 01 has a iris perfume, and that is also very beautiful. Love that one as well. But I would say the Ormonde Jayne Vanille d'Afrique, this one is just a very soft, cozy iris. So if you are interested in an iris perfume that has a really lovely evolution and it's not your typical iris perfume, this is one you might want to check out. And then the other perfume that I have just also fallen in love with is the Merit Retrospect. And I just think this bottle is really, really gorgeous. Now, the inspiration is a pebble. I've also heard that they were inspired by jewelry as well. And as I mentioned, I think in my Black Friday video, that pear is a very significant note, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, but I feel like it also kind of looks like a pear in a way. But I just love how it fits in the hand. The only thing I will say about it is the cap is a little hard to remove. It does not come off easily, so what I have to do is I just twist it so there's a little lip there, and then I pull it off. So it's a little difficult to pull off the cap just straight off this way, so you do have to twist it and then pull it off. So let's talk about the notes in here. The top has pear, ambrette, aldehydes, and bergamot. The middle notes are orris, jasmine, violet, rose, and rosemary. And then in the heart is musk, moss, and vanilla. Now, before I talk about my experience of it, I do want to say that this is an extrait de perfume. This is not an EDP. And if I have my numbers correct, an EDP has 20% perfume oil and an extrait has 30%. So this is going to have an even longer wear time than an EDP. The extrait concentration harkens back to vintage perfumes, and this is exactly what Merit was wanting to do. They wanted to merge vintage with modern, and I really feel like they did that beautifully. So in terms of the opening, I definitely get the aldehydes in here, but not in like a big aldehyde bomb like a Chanel No. 5 or anything like that. The aldehydes in here, to me, speak in a very modern way. So the aldehydes merge beautifully with the pear note. So it smells like a pear champagne to me. So when you first spray it, I get a sparkling champagne note, and it is really fresh, really crisp, very bubbly, sparkly. I really love it. I think it is very tasteful. It is not overdone. You don't get this like fruity bomb in any way. And like I said, it's not an aldehydic bomb either. So very tasteful, very well done, and very modern. So I think, again, they've combined that vintage feeling of an aldehyde, but they've done it in a very modern way. And then moving into the heart, you have very classic florals. You've got the rose, you've got the jasmine, you've got the orris, which is the root actually of the iris flower. So it's not a true floral. Orris butter, orris is the root, like I said, of the iris flower. That is a little bit more woody. It can be a little bit spicy. So not a true floral, but again, just very, very classic in terms of perfumery. So again, that kind of lends itself to that vintage vibe that they're going for. I don't really get violet and I don't really get rosemary. I just don't really get those notes in the heart here at all, or at all really in the perfume. But I would say the orris, the jasmine, and the rose really blend harmoniously together in the heart, and it's really beautiful, very well done, and I would say quite classic. But there is still a modern aspect to it because it's not too heavy, it's not too powdery. It is straddling that vintage modern tone that I think they were really shooting for. So when I'm looking at my notes, I wrote down that it is a warm floral because orris is quite musky. You know, this one, sort of like the Ormonde Jayne, it's not cool, it's not reserved. You know, there also is vanilla in here. So the vanilla does help warm that up, and you do experience more of the vanilla in the dry down, which I'm going to talk about, but the vanilla does start to come into play during the heart of the perfume. In terms of the dry down, now there is musk, moss, and like I said, there's that vanilla going on in there, but the musk is not a white musk. So it's not a tenacious white musk. So while the nose of the perfume, her name is Fanny Ball, she does talk about it being a skin scent, but I don't think it's too heavy of a skin scent. I've got it on my left arm here, and it's fully dried down. I sprayed this about 2 hours ago. And I do know what she means in terms of it being a skin scent. You can't deny that there is musk in here, but it is really soft. It's very gentle on that muskiness. Like I said, it doesn't have that real tenacious white musk because I just do not like that experience. It's just too much for me. It's too clingy, too tenacious. This Merit perfume is not that at all. I've seen a lot of comparisons to Glossier U. I don't understand the comparisons to Glossier U. I don't get that at all. I feel like this is its own original perfume. I don't think it has any of the Glossier DNA in this. I think that maybe people are just making that association, possibly because Merit is a minimalist makeup company similar to Glossier. There might just be some confirmation bias in there. You think it's gonna smell like Glossier U, you want it to smell like Glossier U, so you think that it does. I'm not too sure why, but it doesn't smell like Glossier U to me at all. It's definitely its own unique perfume. So for me, overall, this has a beautiful, soft, vanillic, musky iris dry down. I would say it is a little bit in that fruity floral category, especially in the beginning, but very, very sophisticated, very modern, yet harkens back, like I said, to a classic perfume. And then in that dry down, it's just a really lovely, musky, vanillic floral. I really love it. I think it's very unique and I'm super happy to have it. And it is definitely one of my favorites from these past couple of months. Since we're on the topic of smelling good, I think I'm gonna go ahead and dive into the Red Flower Palo Santo Body Wash. I talked about this in my Black Friday recommendations video as well, but I have got to talk about this again because this truly is one of my favorites from these past couple of months. The scent profile in here does have Palo Santo in here, but I would say that it is a beautiful blend of eucalyptus and sandalwood. So for me, it's the trio of those: Palo Santo, eucalyptus, and sandalwood. There are a few other scents listed in here like copaiba oil, white birch, and mountain grasses. But like I said, for me, I mostly get Palo Santo, eucalyptus, and sandalwood, and it is just so gorgeous. I also want to mention that the first ingredient in this body wash is aloe leaf juice, and then there's also green tea extract in here. This makes for a really nice lather, especially if you put it on a scrunchie or a sponge, but you don't necessarily need to use that. You can just put it in the palm of your hands and lather it up very nicely. So huge, huge rave for this. This was sent to me as a gift from Red Flower, but I will definitely be getting this in the future with my own money. They also have a lotion in this scent and I'm dying to try this. So anyway, huge, huge favorite of mine. I think I'm gonna stay on the glorious scent train and talk about the Lepaar Balm from the December Boxwalla Beauty Box. I hope that this is still available by the time I post this video, but even if it's not, I've got to talk to you about this because even if this is not available on the Boxwalla website, I do think you can get this on the Lepaar website. But regardless, this is their Rose Gold Glow Balm, and the scent of this balm is absolute heaven. So I know I've already talked about this very recently, I think probably in the video that is prior to this one, but the scent is just stunning. So this has plum seed oil in it, May rose, apple, strawberry, and peony. And the combination of all of those scents has just come together to create absolute heaven. So I do feel like the overriding scent in here is plum, and it's this creamy kind of waxy, plummy gloriousness where you feel like you've got swirls of fleshy plum all over your face. But of course, it's this creamy, delicious balm that you're just spreading all over yourself. I think when I mentioned in my previous video there was something nostalgic about it, I think that might be coming from the apple. Maybe like the Jolly Rancher apple candy, but not like super, super sweet Jolly Rancher, but there's just a hint, I think, of the apple in there. And I think it might be similar to the old After Show cleanser. Now it's unscented, but he had a little scent in there and it was apple. I think it's the same thing kind of going on here that's giving me that slight nostalgic feeling. But anyway, the apple in here just makes me feel really cozy. And I think the way the strawberry and the rose petals are all melding together, it's almost like an alchemical reaction happening in here that creates the most beautiful scent profile. Anyway, it's gorgeous. I love it. The texture's beautiful. It's this nice, loose, juicy balm. It's just so gorgeous. I can't say enough great things about it. So if the Boxwalla Beauty Box is still available, I will put that down in the description box below. And if it is sold out, I will try to link how you can get your hands on this balm if it sounds interesting to you. I think I've talked about this several times, but I'm gonna talk about it again. No big surprise to you. This is the Apis Flower Sap. This is their hydration harmonizer, and I have been combining it with the Mara Algae Retinol face oil. Now, I think I've talked about this combination with the Jordan Samuel Retinol face oil, which has been discontinued. He's apparently going to be coming out with a new one, but I don't think it's available yet. So I wanted to get another retinol face oil, so I picked up the one from Mara. And let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about this product. There's evening primrose oil in here, as well as green tea. There's 1.2% retinol in here. There's also wild collected algae, which is going to help plump and lock in moisture. And the algae is also rich in phytonutrients, omegas 3, 6, and 9. And then also, for those of you who are trying to avoid hyaluronic acid, there's no hyaluronic acid in here. As I mentioned, there's green tea, which is fermented green tea and fermented kake, and both of those are natural sources of vitamin A. And kake in particular, I think has the highest level of vitamin A in a natural source. And on their website, they recommend that you start using this 2 to 3 times a week, and then you can build up to nightly as tolerated. And then you guys have heard me talk about this so many times so far, but the Apis Flower Sap has rose damascena flower water, aloe vera, it's got Maine harvested seaweed extract, it's got rose and gromwell root, and gromwell is very calming and hydrating. There's also glycerin in here. So what I do is I just take about 2 or 3 drops of the flower sap, 2 or 3 drops of the retinol oil, put them together in the palm of my hand, and then just put it on my face, and I absolutely love it. So at nighttime, what I do is I just spray my face with a mist, or I put an essence, and I'm about to talk to you about my favorite essence over the last couple months. So I'll put that on my face, put this combination on top, and then I'll put a balm on top of that. So like the Lepaar Balm I just mentioned, or a cream on top of it, like the Fortuna cream or the Dam Dam Tokyo cream on top, and then go to bed. And I've just been absolutely loving that combination. Now, I mentioned the essence that I've been loving, and I have talked about this in the past. This is the Dr. Ceuracle Vegan Kombucha Tea Essence, and you can see this is a bi-phase essence. And then once you shake it up, it turns into a lovely milky essence. And this contains green tea extract. It also has sunflower seed unsaponifiables. And I've spoken about unsaponifiables in the past, I think specifically when I was talking about a Boxwalla beauty box that had a 12 beauty product, which contained unsaponifiables. But anyway, unsaponifiables are great for the skin. They have a lipid replenishing ability, which helps soothe skin and stimulates synthesis of epidermal lipids. There's Centella asiatica in here. There's also Schisandra extract, which is anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, stimulates collagen. There's also ceramide NP in here. So this is just a really gorgeous essence. I am so glad to have this back in my life. I think this might be the 3rd bottle I've had of this. I love this stuff. It is very reasonably priced, and I'm just so glad to have it back in my life. And even though it looks like I have a lot left, a lot of what you're seeing here are bubbles, but a little bit goes a long way. You really do do not need very much of it because it is so emollient on the skin, which is quite amazing. So you really don't need very much. And then finally on the skincare, I have been really loving the Blissoma Lavish Loving Recovery beta-glucan mask. And the reason why this has been coming into play over the last couple months is because I've been taking more baths lately. And when I take baths, I love to put a mask on before I get into the bath. And just in general, I'm not using masks very much. I just don't feel like I need them because my skincare is so good that I'm just getting what I need from my skincare products. So when I do use a mask, I feel like I just want something that's very soothing, it's very gentle, that's giving me moisturization. And so this Blissoma beta-glucan mask is exactly what I want. So like I said, when I get into the bath, this is what I want to be reaching for because it's great for sensitive skin, if your skin's feeling dry or irritated. It's just one of those masks that I want to reach for when I'm getting into the bath because when I'm getting into the bath, I just want to relax and be soothed, and I don't really want to worry about, oh, is it time to take off my mask, or is this something that's going to be, too irritating or too active for my skin if I leave it on for too long. The ingredients in here are oat milk and medicinal mushrooms, kupuaku butter. It is unscented, so it's a very decadent and super creamy mask. And the beta-glucans in here are special sugars from the oats and the mushrooms that penetrate through multiple layers of the skin for deep hydration. There's also organic virgin baobab, there's pumpkin, perilla, and pomegranate oils. There's also organic regenerative plantain and self-heal. Both of those are very calming, and that's what the mask looks like. And I'll just go ahead and show you that creaminess there. And just on my skin, it feels really cooling. And the scent is really, really gentle. And as the description says, it is unscented, so there's no essential oils in here. The scent is just coming from the ingredients themselves. And the texture is very silky, feels very, very smooth. And just rubbing it on my hand makes me feel like I want to put it on my face after I finish filming because it's just very relaxing. Like I said, very silky, very creamy. And you just feel like you can leave it on your skin for as long as you want to. I believe they recommend 20 minutes, but I've left it on my skin for much longer than that. And then when you're done with the mask, you just emulsify it off with water and it just rinses off beautifully, leaves your skin feeling smooth and silky and supple. And honestly, I think this is one of the very few masks that I have, and it's one of the only ones that I really truly enjoy using. It feels very calming, it feels like it's nourishing, and my skin just feels very hydrated and moisturized after I use it. And then finally, real quick, I just want to mention a couple of makeup items that I have been loving over the last couple of months. One of them I mentioned in the Black Friday video that I have re-fallen in love with the Merit Taupe Lip Slick. I love this one so much. I have two of them going. I have one in the bathroom and one in my purse. This is just such a perfect neutral color for me. This is my favorite color that they have, and I just find it to be the perfect nudie brown on my skin tone. So this is what I have on my lips today with a little bit of the Mob Beauty 1990 lip liner, which I guess I could probably also include in this video because this has become a big favorite of mine too. So I will go ahead and include both of these together as a nice duo on the lips. It is what I have on my lips today. Like I said, this lining my lips and then the Merit Taupe Lip Slick. So I will use the lip liner if I want it to be a little bit on the elevated side, like, for this video, or if I'm going out for dinner or something. But on an everyday basis, I've just been reaching for the taupe lip gloss for whatever I'm going to be doing for that day. This is just so easy and I love it. And then the last thing I'm going to mention is the Saie Dew Blush. Now, I absolutely love spicy. This is probably my favorite besides peachy, but I am so sad to say that peachy has been discontinued. I spoke about that in my Black Friday video before I knew it was discontinued. I recommended peachy, and then I went to link it and then I couldn't find it anywhere. So peachy is sadly discontinued. Somebody was selling it on Poshmark, so I snapped one up. So if you love peachy, try to find it anywhere you can because it is no longer available on Sephora or the Saie website. it was really hard to find. So anyway, do your best if you are a peachy fan. But luckily, spicy is still available, hopefully not going anywhere anytime soon. This is a warm terracotta, and it is gorgeous. I love this color so much, and I love the formula of this dew blush. It blends beautifully. It has a gorgeous finish, and look at that color. It's just so beautiful. And like I said, I just love the finish. Nice and dewy, but not overly so. I think another reason why this color is flattering is because there's not too much orange in it. I feel like there's red going on here, and so that makes it feel like a really natural flush, because when it gets too orangey, it starts to look a little fake, a little clownish. But because there's a hint of red in here, I think that makes it feel a little bit more like a natural flush. Feels like it's a little bit more of a blend between brown and red, possibly. I'm not a color theory expert. That's my thinking about this color, that it seems like a really nice blend of red and brown that makes it feel very natural, kind of gives you that sun-kissed look, especially when it's the wintertime and you want to brighten up your face. I just feel like this is a great, very flattering color, and I do think it would work on a lot of skin tones as well. So that does it for my favorites from November and December. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please do give me a thumbs up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out another video next week because I'll be pretty busy just with the holidays and my boys being in town. My next video might be in 2 weeks, which will be my best of 2024. If I do get out another video between now and then, that would be great. I'm hoping I can do that, but if not, I will see you in the next video, which will be my best of 2024. If not, I will surprise you with another video in between those two times, but if not, I will see you in that next one. Bye.